So, Mark, we finally got a look at what all of the Bellagio trees look like gone. Jedi Rich drove by and he gave us a great view of what you see from the street. To me, it looks barren and sad. All the atmosphere is gone. I will say, people on Twitter, there are some people who say it looks good. People say you can see it better from across the street. So, our opinion isn't the only one, but I don't like it.
Yeah, I think it depends on where you're at. Like, if you're driving down the strip, you probably like this better because you can see it clearly, especially if a show's going on. If you're sitting at one of the outdoor cafes or the beer deck and all that stuff across the street, then you like this. You got clear views or from the Eiffel Tower. I guess it probably doesn't matter from that vantage point. But if you're on the street walking alongside it, I think it takes a lot away from it. It doesn't feel as all encompassing. It just feels, like you said, barren. It just feels like it's like, blam, here we go. Here's the fountains. And you don't feel like a cozy atmosphere. I can see if I'm driving by, I like it. If I'm walking and want to watch the show, I don't like it.
I just think it looks sad. I'm just sad to see the way that it looks. I don't know. It just makes me sad.
Think of all the mulch, though. Those parks, the two parks that they put it in are good now.
There you go. That makes it all better. We've talked on previous shows about how Fontainebleau isn't doing a lot of PR kind of hype leading up to their thing and how Durango is doing better. And they continue, and they're doing something interesting. Prince Street Pizza, which I think is a big chain they have some stores on the East Coast, but I think mostly in California. But they're doing a pop-up at Red Rock because it will be in the food hall at Durango. So they're doing this cross promotion, 2 days only, September 29th from 2 to 8 p.m., Saturday, September 30th from 12 p.m. to when they're sold out. The pizza looks delicious. They are using those beautiful pepperonis. It looks good, and it's a great way to get some locals excited for their brand. Durango doing it right with the hype.
Yeah, I mean, the pizza looks great. It looks kind of like a Sicilian grandma style type square crust. It looks really good pepperoni. It looks like good sauce, good cheese. I mean, we'll have to definitely taste it and see how it tastes. But from the picture, everything looks good, which, with pizza, a lot of times, even when they do like a mock photo, it looks terrible. So you can kind of tell. It all comes down to price. Is it insane prices like you see on the strip, or are they a little bit more affordable? But yeah, everything I've seen from Durango is like knocking it out of the park. I haven't seen one thing I don't like. So is this the new best property in Vegas?
I mean, I would not go there yet. Some people would say Red Rock is, right? So, I mean,
Yeah.
I think that this could be it. I've said I think this is an evolution of Red Rock, which was an evolution of Green Valley Ranch. All super nice resorts and great places to stay, play, eat, all of that. But this does look great, and the pizza looks nice. And I think they're going to sell it by the slice, and then you could also get pies to go. Every week there's something. So I'm excited for Durango. We're like a little over 2 months away. November 20th is when they're opening their doors, and I can't wait for that. Did you see this story about the Aria manager? He allegedly stole $773,000 from Aria. He had worked there for 12 years, but the theft allegedly didn't start until 2022, so just in the last year. And he got suspected by like a coworker because he was buying all kinds of expensive stuff, and he said that he was doing private chef work on the side. Coworker gets suspicious, starts looking into the transactions. And, he just kept getting greedier and greedier, as this usually happens. And basically, he was refunding reservations to his own debit card, his Chase debit card, and $773,000 over about a year. And, it just, based on the numbers, he was doing more and more every month, trying to get more money. Greed, it always gets you in the end.
Yeah, where's, Chase in all of this? How do you see this many refunds to a debit card and have it not raise red flags or shut down the account or reach out to where it's coming from? Something along those lines. This is a lot of money. It's not like it's 10K or 20K. We're talking hundreds of, almost $1 million, $750,000. So I don't understand how that went through all this time, how their internal network didn't catch it. I mean, this isn't a small amount. You can get away with it once or twice. It's always the people greed, man. They start pushing and hope he had a really good year because he's going to spend a couple in prison. It won't be so fun.
Yeah, they were investigating him, and then he quit his job before, maybe hoping that would stop the investigation. I don't know. But then he turned himself into the police September 1st, so he hadn't worked there for a couple months. But he had done a total of 209 refunds, and it just upped. I think the highest was in July, which was 37. That's around, I think, the time he quit his job. So just a nutty story. And to your point, why don't they not have internal controls to be like so many refunds to the same card? And I'm imagining they're creating an algorithm to look at that now. And probably my guess with that many refunds is eventually some sort of audit would have caught this. But the coworker did that. I mean, they did the right thing. And in this case, snitches don't get stitches.
Yeah, they should give the coworker like $70K as a bonus for catching it. If they recoup some of the money, they should do something for him.
This is MGM we're talking about. I don't think they're getting anything quite that good. Maybe a free show ticket or something.
What Caesars give the one guy that had worked there forever, like light bulbs or something? Hopefully MGM does better than that.
So one of my favorite follows on Twitter, we've talked about her before, Carrie Balicki. She got to try out the Vault at Bellagio, that sort of speakeasy we talked about, super high-end, rare liquors, very expensive drinks. I think the cheapest is $30, but you're paying big money to be in there, and it looks incredible. I mean, she gave us great pictures and video inside. She said it has a Great Gatsby type of look. I mean, I think this might be one of the nicest spaces in all of Las Vegas. Just based on what I've seen, I have to go there and try it out.
Definitely follow her. She has great pictures, and she always is out on the town doing something. So if you like drinks or, party atmosphere or nightlife, she's a great follow on Twitter. But it does look a lot like Great Gatsby, and I love that it's still kind of like, even though people are publicizing and it's out there, it's still kind of hidden. Like, I don't think anybody that walks by this will notice and know it's there unless they're looking for it, which I think is cool. Other speakeasies aren't really all that well hidden. They're kind of like an open secret, where this is, you're going to need to know, or maybe, plan ahead and get a reservation and stuff. Looks very cool. I probably wouldn't eat anything on the menu, but I definitely would have a drink or two there.
Yeah, the menu is crazy expensive, but you pay a lot of money at a lot of places in Las Vegas for drinks. Like, think about what, if you just walked up and got a drink at Harrah's, it would probably cost you $15 at a casino bar for a regular drink. This, if you're paying $30 for a cocktail, a normal cocktail, with the ambiance and what they're doing there, I think they get props, and it fits perfectly within the Bellagio theme and the clientele. And we've talked before how we don't think Bellagio sort of measures up to maybe Wynn or some of the other high-end places, but this certainly does, and they deserve props for everything they've done here. And bringing in that very rare collection of alcohol, clearly those are very expensive. You're talking $150 drinks. That's going to cater to the people that want to be in this place, and I think this is going to be hard to get into based on what I said. We know they don't have a lot of seats. It's not very big. As more and more people see this, either the prices are going to go up to $50 to start, or it's going to be really hard to get in.
Yeah, I wonder, during the week if it will be a little bit easier, or what the walk-in type of availability will be like, because I'm sure a lot of people won't plan ahead and be like, hey, remember, that place, let's go check it out, and not be able to get in. But hopefully they save a couple seats. A lot of times bars and restaurants will do that. Well, even if they are reservation only, they'll save a couple seats for walk-ins just to make people's day and stuff. So hopefully they do that, or just here and there it happens and you luck out. But I definitely want to check it out. It looks really awesome.
So this is a MGM heavy show. But I wanted to talk about Cosmo real quick. I teased it a little bit on the last show. We stayed at Nomad last week and spent some time at Cosmo, mainly because my wife wanted to play, and I figured it was better to do it under Cosmo's identity program, which has been more generous with comps to get some free nights. She barely played. I think the last time she gambled there was a year ago, but she had 2 free nights already. So, playing a little bit more. Hopefully we'll get something before it turns into MGM Rewards. And we don't get anything from MGM Rewards as locals. I never get comp offers. So we did that, and we're over there. And Cosmo's always been one of my favorite casinos to go into. Cocktail service is always great, fast. We were there for like a total of 2 hours and only got 1 drink, and we had several cocktail servers take our orders, and we weren't moving around the casino to different areas. We were sticking around. They were just like few and far between. We had 2 different cocktail servers take our orders and never bring them, and we searched the whole casino trying to find them. We found a 3rd one finally, and she's like, well, my drink tray is full, so you're gonna have to wait probably 30-45 minutes for a drink. Even though we told her we've been waiting an hour. The service was absolutely terrible. And the atmosphere was, fine. It was Cosmo. I noticed there's a lot more older people in there now compared to what you would see 5 or 10 years ago. And then the other thing I noticed, dogs all over the casino. There was many people with their dogs just sitting in the casino in wagons. It wasn't the Cosmo that I've fallen in love with. I'm not going to put it down. I'm going to stay there in November using those comp nights right before Formula One, so I can be down there and kind of show everybody what it looks like right before the race, because coincidentally the comp offer worked that week. It's just 2 days before the race started. But yeah, we left, kind of upset, went back to Park MGM. To their credit, within 30 seconds, the cocktail waitress came right over, took the order. We had drinks 2 minutes later. So props to Park MGM. I don't know what the heck is happening at Cosmo.
That's because there's 12 people in Park MGM, but no.
Well, yeah.
I'm waiting for you to throw up the picture of me petting the dog in Cromwell when the guy had me watch it while he peed the one time. The MGM effect, right? That's what everybody's going to say. Just, they're probably already cutting back on on workers and everything like that and trying to extract every dollar they can. Hopefully that's not what's happening, but you could have just maybe had an off night. Cosmo's such a special property. That's Fontainebleau. If they were promoting this place, I think they're perfectly primed to take all those people if it lines up the way that we think, with the design and everything in the way that's going to be inside. I wish we just saw a little bit more of it so we could, get super excited about it. But I think they're going to take a big chunk of that group of people, the younger people that are in that 25 to 35 age that was always in Cosmo. I think this really is their chance to dip into that and take them right from Cosmo.
I agree. And I was thinking that Cosmo opened and, the people who would go there when they were younger, now they're older, and maybe that's what's happening there. Maybe it was just a bad night. And that's why I wanted to kind of throw it out there to people to leave a comment. Let me know what your recent experiences are there. It was bad. I mean, it was really bad, but I've only had great experiences there. In fact, it was probably my favorite casino on the Strip as far as service. They give you like full-size cocktails usually. It's very good. So I'm going to not write them off. I'll try them again, in the next couple months and see how it goes. But I'd be interested to see what other people have experienced there.
Did you guys go get the numb drink at the Chandelier Bar?
Oh, we forgot. All right. That's on the agenda for November. For November. You know what she should have done is just gone to the Chandelier Bar and gambled at the bar top. Because, you have to wait for the light and you get the vouchers, but it would have certainly been better than what we experienced there. So we definitely have to do that. And did you
want to see a video of you biting the flower and then your mouth going numb? That's what I want to see.
Okay. All right. Done. Another crazy thing happened in Vegas this weekend. Ed Sheeran's concert at Allegiant Stadium was canceled at the last minute. Apparently, the big towers that he uses shifted by like over a foot. The floor basically couldn't support the weight. We don't really know if it's a design flaw of the stadium or something else, but this is a world tour that's gone all over the place. They haven't had these issues in other arenas, so maybe it was the company that put it together or something else. I'm sure we'll find out. He's going to come back on October 28th. But the crazy thing was, it was like 103 degrees outside. The doors were supposed to open at 4:30. They tweeted out saying 5:30 that they would open the doors. So you have 50,000 or more people just standing outside, waiting in the hot sun, not enough water. In fact, they weren't giving people free water, so I guess they were still selling stuff, so people criticized them for that. A lot of people passed out, vomited. Paramedics had to come in. Then they opened the doors a little bit, but wouldn't let people inside the actual arena, which makes sense because you have these towers that are shifting, and I imagine they could fall into the seats. They're big. But so they're in the lobbies and they're crushed together. It reminded me of Mexico City when we were there last year for the Mexican Independence Day. I don't know. It looked crazy. A lot of people upset. Ed Sheeran, to his credit, didn't really know that it was going to be canceled to the last minute. He came out and posed with some fans, said the next show will be very special. He appreciates the effort people went in to come and see him. I think he's a good actor in all of this, but it was a mess and sort of crazy to see all those videos coming out of it.
Yeah, it sounds like they had some type of flooring that they put down maybe over the field to protect the field, and that was shifting. It couldn't handle the weight, which, Ford Field had Ed Sheeran. My sister went to it here when it was in Detroit, and they didn't have that issue. So I don't know if they used a different setup than other football fields. But you would think that they would be somewhat used to this by now because they've done a lot of concerts there. I know each one has a different setup, but hopefully they learn from it. It's just sad that in that heat, you can't let people just sit out there and not give them anything. Give some bottles of water. You'll lose a little bit of money, but it's not that big of a deal compared to, having people upset and getting all this bad press. It's kind of crazy. You could have opened it up and let people buy beer and all that stuff on the inside, even not letting them go to their seats. You have the vendors in there. It's not like everybody wasn't there ready to work. So you could have done something along those lines. And my first reaction was, why don't people just leave after a while? But there was like lines and everybody was kind of squished in. I don't think you could get out once you were in, which is a terrible feeling. I wouldn't want to be in that at all.
Yeah, because the common sense would be just walk over the bridge, hang out at Mandalay Bay or Luxor. But as you said, it was just so many people there, and they're just all, stuck. And they wanted to get there early, I'm sure, to get into the atmosphere, the vibe. This is your favorite singer. You want to see this. And I think he's a really good guy. I think he's going to make a very special show for the people who come back in October. And he got a lot of hate at first, but I think people understood this was beyond their control. And you don't want one of those towers. I mean, they're giant. You don't want any issues with that. You should be glad that he didn't do it. But I think Allegiant Stadium needs a better plan for if something like this happens again, for having water for people or for having ways to disperse people or something like that. So they clearly learned a lesson here. And hopefully this does not happen again, because it was pretty ugly all around. So just a reminder, we are launching our Patreon this week. In fact, just a few days on Friday, we're launching our Patreon. We'll have an exclusive after show. So nothing about this show will change. Still, we'll do Tuesdays and Fridays, the same show. But if you want a looser after show, more kind of in-depth stuff, we are going to do that on Patreon for our patrons. And we will be launching that this Friday. So look out for it on our next show. So the Culinary Union is going to go on strike, or at least they're going to vote to go on strike at the end of this month, I think September 26th. That doesn't mean that they necessarily will go on strike. And it also means that our favorite guy, Papa Giorgio, is in the news because he's the guy who leads the Culinary Union. So I'm always happy anytime he's in the news and I get to read an article. But if they do vote to strike, pretty curious timing here for the casinos because you have a Formula One race, you have a Super Bowl coming up. Seems like the union might have a lot of leverage here.
Yeah, and I mean, we've talked about the profits the casinos have been making and the record numbers that they've been bringing in. So I think they have a lot to go off of, and then with everything that's lined up coming up in the next several months, they can't afford to have a strike. They really can't. Hopefully it isn't like out of this world asks so that it's, that they're going to say no anyway, but hopefully they come to some common ground. We definitely need to pay the service workers more than they have been in the past, and we need to get more of them in there. So maybe if they do get some concessions, gets more people into the union so that more people can get hired and we get 24-hour food and drinks again. That's all that matters, Sean. That's all I want.
Yeah.
It's 24 hours.
Yeah. Well, one of the concerns is staff cutting and making the employees do more work. Obviously, cost of living increases. We haven't seen a full culinary union strike since 1984, although people who came to Vegas like in the 90s, I remember the Frontier. I don't remember how long it went on, like 10 years or something crazy like that. They were always outside the Frontier because they would never become unionized. So there were like little strikes, but the whole union hasn't striked since 1984. And I have to think that they're enjoying this timing that gives them a little bit more leverage. But their contract, I believe, ended on June 1st. So they're just basically working on an extension right now. So they're doing it all in good faith. So we'll see how that all works out. And then finally, MGM again, because we can't avoid them. But this is crazy. They have a major cyber attack that happened to them. As we record this on Monday, everything is still down. It happened on Sunday sometime. And this is like payment systems, ATMs, their whole website, reservations, just everything, even the digital room keys. Apparently the physical room keys do work that they program locally, but their entire thing is down. We didn't know what initially happened, but then they confirmed that it's a major cyber attack and they're hacked in some way. We don't know what information got taken, but they have a lot of personal information and they were hacked, a few years ago as well. So this is an ongoing story, but it's had a significant impact, not just in Vegas, but all of their properties.
Yeah, I'm waiting for my email that says I have a year worth of LifeLock or whatever they're going to give me for the stuff that's hacked, like we've seen with every other major corporation these days. It's kind of sad of how little security these companies have and how often they get hacked and how much of our information they have. So it's scary when you think about it. I try not to think about it. Luckily, it hasn't ever turned into anything for me personally, but I know it has for others. So hopefully they get this up and running. If you were in Vegas and you spent all this money, how upset would you be? You can't gamble. You can't get money out of the ATMs. I mean, I guess you go to Caesars and do all that stuff. But if you're at your favorite hotel and your program that you want to put money into, you can't even do that right now. It's rough.
Stupidly, this morning I was booking that Cosmo stay, not even thinking, I don't know Cosmo's on the same system. I actually don't think it is, but I had the offer and I booked it. And then at the end, it just like hung there for a second. And then it said my offer disappeared and I had already redeemed it. No confirmation email. And I'm like, you're an idiot. What the heck were you doing booking that when you knew that it was down? Even though, again, it wasn't officially linked into this according to them. But anyway, is it, are they holding them hostage? Ransomware? We've seen that with other big companies. We really don't know. There's even reports of some machines being offline. It's a real mess, and this is a huge thing. They've said they contacted law enforcement. We'll follow up on the next show how long it takes them to get back up, what the repercussions are. It'll probably be a while before we really know what got leaked or what exactly happened. But the fact that they came out and confirmed this, it's a huge deal. And for a big company like that, no doubt the corporate headquarters down here is a mess this morning. People cannot be happy. It's got to be very stressful for guests, but also for the company. And nobody wants to see this as much as we love to hate on MGM in, a lighthearted way.
Yeah, maybe the IT union went on strike too. Who knows?
So let us know what you think about anything we talked about, the MGM hack, the potential strike for the Culinary Union, Ed Sheeran's concert, the guy who allegedly stole all that money from Aria. What do you think about the trees and how that looks from the street? Do you like it? Are you in that camp? Are you in the camp with me who thinks it looks like a barren wasteland now? Maybe I was being a little dramatic, but let us know down in the comments. We do 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Fridays, and we'll be back in a couple days with another show. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
Do you think we said allegedly enough to cover our butts?
I hope so.
See you guys on Friday.